Let's get right into it. Number 10. Phantom vibrations. Your pocket buzzes. You reach for your phone. Surprise, nothing there. No call, no text, not even a pity notification from your weather app. Congratulations. Your nervous system just gaslit you. This little phenomenon is called phantom vibration syndrome, and it happens because your brain is way too eager to connect random sensory input with your addiction. Your communication device. Here's how it works. Your nerves get tiny signals all the time, like clothing brushing against skin or muscle twitches, and your brain, hopped up on expectation, mislabels them as your phone. It's the same way you can swear you hear your name in a noisy crowd. Your neurons basically act like paranoid parents. Was that you? Are you okay? Do you need me? And the more anxious or phone-dependent you are, the more often it happens. College studies have shown people who check their phones obsessively are more likely to experience these phantom buzzes. So yeah, the irony is the less you want to miss something, the more your brain invents fake somethings. It's like giving yourself a jump scare for free. Basically, you're Pavlov's dog, except instead of salivating at a bell, you're lunging at a rectangle that isn't even ringing. Number 9. Sleep paralysis monsters. You wake up in the middle of the night, can't move, can't scream, and oh look, a shadowy figure is squatting in the corner of your room like it pays rent. Welcome to sleep paralysis, everyone's least favorite slumber party. Scientifically, this happens when your body is stuck in REM paralysis, so you don't karate kick your bed partner while dreaming, but your brain wakes up early. Now you're conscious, but your muscles are still on lockdown. And because the brain hates unexplained stuff, it fills in the gaps with horror movie quality hallucinations. That demon sitting on your chest is just your brain trying to rationalize why you can't breathe deeply while paralyzed. That shadow figure? It's your survival instincts going, if we can't move, we're definitely about to be eaten, so let's imagine the threat now. Across cultures, people report eerily similar hallucinations: witches, demons, intruders, aliens, basically whatever your cultural boogeyman is. The science says it's neural misfiring. The folklore says it's hell breaking into your bedroom. Either way, you're left flat on your back like a terrified pancake. So yeah, sweet dreams. Number 8. False memories. Quick question. Did Monopoly Man ever have a monocle? If you said yes, congrats, you're wrong, but you're also in the majority. This is the Mandela effect, where large groups of people confidently remember something that never existed. Memory isn't a hard drive, it's more like a bad improv troupe. Every time you recall something, your brain reassembles it on the spot, filling in gaps with close enough details. Over time, those made-up details stick, and suddenly you're ready to swear in court that Pikachu has a black-tipped tail. He doesn't. Psychologists think false memories happen because your brain loves shortcuts. Instead of remembering each fact, it stores patterns, associations, and vibes. Your brain goes, Monopoly Man looks like Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut has a monocle. Done. That's how an entire crowd of people ends up hallucinating the same imaginary accessory. The scary part? You can plant false memories into people with just enough suggestion. In experiments, researchers convinced participants they had been lost in a mall as kids, and people happily produced memories of the event. So next time you're arguing with a friend about whether Shazam the Genie movie existed, it didn't, by the way, just remember, both of you are victims of a brain that would rather be confidently wrong than uncertain. Basically, your memory is less a scrapbook and more a compulsive fanfiction writer. Number 7. Déjà Vu. You walk into a room and instantly feel like you've been there before, even though you haven't. Welcome to Déjà Vu, the brain's glitchy version of a rerun. It's like Netflix asking if you want to keep watching when you're certain this is the first time you've clicked play. The science is still a bit murky, but the leading idea is that déjà vu happens when your brain's memory system misfires. One part of your temporal lobe accidentally files new information under already seen. So suddenly your brain insists you've lived this moment before. It's basically your neurons copy-pasting reality into the wrong folder. And here's the kicker. Déjà vu is more common when you're young, stressed, or tired. So, picture your brain being overworked at 2 a.m., chugging caffeine, and going, hey, didn't we just do this? No, brain, we've never been in this gas station at midnight buying questionable sushi. That's just you being lazy with your filing system. There's also a theory that it's a tiny delay between the left and right hemispheres processing the same info. One side gets the data a fraction of a second earlier, so when the other side catches up, it feels like you're experiencing something twice. Like a live broadcast with a bad internet connection. So yeah, déjà vu isn't proof of past lives or time loops. It's just your brain glitching harder than a video game on a scratch disk. Number 6. The rubber hand trick. Here's a fun way to trick your brain into an existential crisis. Put your hand on a table, hide it behind a screen, and place a fake rubber hand in front of you. Now, if someone strokes both your real hand and the fake one in sync, after a minute your brain adopts the rubber hand as its own. You'll actually feel like it belongs to you. This is called the rubber hand illusion, and it exposes just how flimsy your sense of self really is. Your brain doesn't care about reality, it just cares about matching up sight and touch. If those signals sync, boom, you've got yourself a brand new plastic body part. Scientists use this to study body ownership, phantom limbs, and even VR immersion. But the best part? If someone suddenly smacks the rubber hand with a hammer, you'll flinch in genuine terror, because your brain has gone all in on the lie. This also explains why VR feels so real, why people can feel prosthetic limbs as part of their body, and why horror games can make you scream at pixels. Your brain is a gullible toddler. Show it the right signals, and it'll believe almost anything. So if you've ever wondered how much you can trust your own perception, the answer is about as much as you can trust a dog not to eat your sandwich when you leave the room. Number 5. The floating sensation. Ever been lying in bed and suddenly feel like you're falling, or floating, or straight up leaving your body like a ghost in a B-movie? That's your brain confusing itself during the weird in-between stages of consciousness. Out-of-body experiences, or OBEs, usually happen when your brain's spatial awareness system gets scrambled. The temporoparietal junction, the part that tells you where you are in space, temporarily misfires. Suddenly, your sense of self-location drifts away from your actual body, and you feel like you're hovering above yourself, watching your own meat suit from the outside. This can happen with sleep disruption, meditation, or even brain stimulation in a lab. And while some people swear it's spiritual proof of the soul leaving the body, neuroscientists have a less poetic explanation. Your brain just temporarily forgot where it parked you. It makes sense if you think about it. Your brain doesn't directly experience the world, it just interprets signals. If those signals get scrambled, your self gets relocated. Like GPS glitching and putting your car in the middle of a lake. So yeah, that time you felt like you were levitating? Not astral projection. Just your brain badly running Google Maps. Number 4. Auditory hallucinations. You know that moment when you're alone at home, and you swear you hear your name whispered from another room? Yeah, that's your brain auditioning for the role of horror movie sound designer. Auditory hallucinations aren't just for people with severe mental illness. They can sneak into everyday life. Stress, sleep deprivation, or even just silence can make your brain conjure voices, music, or noises that don't exist. Basically, when your brain gets bored, it starts remixing reality like a DJ with no chill. Here's the science. Your auditory cortex is tuned to detect patterns, especially human speech. It would rather invent a voice than miss one. That's why people in isolation tanks often start hearing things. Your brain is like, okay, nothing's happening, so let's spice it up with a ghost whisper. It's the same mechanism behind earworms. When a song plays on loop in your head, your brain is filling the void, sometimes against your will. And in severe cases like schizophrenia, this system goes into overdrive, producing vivid voices that feel external. But here's the fun, slightly terrifying part. Even perfectly healthy people can experience fleeting hallucinations, especially when stressed or exhausted. So if you've ever thought you heard your phone ding, your name called, or your dead grandma telling you to do your laundry, congrats, your brain is just being extra. Basically, your auditory system is like an overzealous intern, constantly generating noise just to stay relevant. Number 3. Mirror weirdness. Spend enough time staring into a mirror, and things get strange. Your face starts to warp, distort, or even morph into other faces entirely. Creepy? Yes. Normal? Also yes. This is called the Troxler effect, where staring at a fixed point causes peripheral details to fade or distort. Combine that with your brain's obsession with pattern recognition, and you'll start hallucinating shapes, shadows, and even faces that aren't really there. People have reported seeing their own reflection melt, transform into monsters, or swap into the face of a relative. Why? Because your visual system gets lazy when overstimulated. Stare too long and your neurons go, we've seen this already, and start cutting corners. The missing information gets filled with whatever patterns your brain feels like tossing in. It's the same reason you see faces in clouds or hear words in static. Your brain's survival instinct says, better overdetect threats than miss one. Unfortunately, that means sometimes you end up looking at your bathroom mirror at 1 a.m. and accidentally summoning a budget version of Bloody Mary. So the next time your reflection seems a little too alive, don't panic. It's not haunted. It's just your brain doing surrealist art without permission. Number 2, time distortions. Ever notice how time crawls when you're bored but vanishes when you're having fun? That's not just perception. That's your brain mangling the flow of time like a bad accordion player. When you're in a high adrenaline situation, your amygdala goes into overdrive, processing more details per second. That flood of information makes it feel like time slowed down, which is why near-miss car accidents can feel like they last forever. Your brain basically switches into bullet time mode, not because reality changed, but because you're suddenly recording in HD instead of potato quality. On the flip side, when you're relaxed or distracted, your brain logs fewer details, so time seems to speed up. That's why a Netflix binge feels like 20 minutes when it's actually 6 hours and a ruined sleep schedule. Scientists have even found that dopamine plays a role in regulating your internal clock. Mess with dopamine levels through drugs, stress, or even anticipation, and you can warp your sense of duration. Basically, your brain's timekeeper is drunk half the time. So the next time you're stuck in a meeting that feels like geological epochs are passing, just remember, the clock isn't broken. Your perception is. Number 1, the simulation feeling. You've probably had that moment. You're walking down the street, everything feels a little off, and suddenly you're like, wait, am I real? Or am I just a side character in someone else's video game? Welcome to derealization, the unsettling brain hiccup where the world feels fake, scripted, or like it's running on cheap CGI. This happens when your brain's perception and emotional response get out of sync. Normally, your sensory systems and emotional systems talk to each other to confirm reality. But under stress, trauma, or exhaustion, that connection wobbles. You still see the world, but it feels hollow, flat, or dreamlike. Like you've stepped into a low-budget Matrix knockoff. It's actually a protective mechanism. When your brain is overwhelmed, it sometimes detaches to keep you from emotionally overloading. Think of it as your mind slamming the mute button on reality. Which sounds cool until you're stuck in a grocery store wondering if the bananas are real or just props. And it's not rare, millions of people experience derealization or depersonalization at some point. The kicker? Knowing about it doesn't make it less weird. Even when you tell yourself, okay, this is just my brain glitching, the world still looks like a staged set. Philosophers love to latch onto this, pointing out that you can't actually prove you're not in a simulation. Scientists, meanwhile, just shrug and say, well, even if you are, your rent is still due. So yeah, when your brain can't tell what's real, it doesn't just mess with your senses. It shakes your entire existence. Thanks, brain. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.